In the shadowy corners of Greek mythology, where the echoes of lost souls whisper, there lies a realm untouched by sunlight and untold by time. Today, we descend into the enigmatic domain of Hades, the silent god of the dead, a deity shrouded in darkness, yet as crucial as the very breath of life. Stay with us as we peel back the layers of myths to reveal the untold stories of the underworld. But who is this god that stands beyond mortality's reach? Is he the merciless jailer of souls, or a misunderstood ruler with a heart of stone? Prepare for a tale where myth meets reality, and the lines between hero and villain blur into obscurity. Join us on this epic journey, where each step takes us deeper into the ancient world's most secret corners. Together, we'll discover that the truth about Hades is as intricate as the labyrinth that guards his realm. And who knows, you might find that Hades isn't the villain he's made out to be. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. After all, every story has a beginning. In the pantheon of deities that rule the ancient Greek cosmos, Hades often remains the enigma, cloaked in misconception. Born of the titans Cronus and Rhea, Hades drew the lot that gave him dominion over the underworld, becoming its eternal overseer. But take heed, for Hades is no mere custodian of the dead. He is the master of riches, for all the earth's wealth lies within his dark embrace. His kingdom is vast, not a mere pit of despair, but a reflection of society itself, with fields of Elysium for the righteous and Tartarus for the wicked. Yet in his silent halls, he is a just ruler, impartial and fair, a god who values the balance of life and death. Our journey today is not to cast judgment, but to understand the ruler of shadows. So, let us stride beside the river Styx, beyond the gates guarded by Cerberus, and into the heart of Hades' domain. For in the depth of the underworld, we may just find the depth of character in the god who presides here. Imagine a world where the sun never rises, and the stars are forever hidden behind a veil of eternal night. This is the underworld over which Hades reigns. Unlike the fiery abodes of other cultures' afterlives, the Greek underworld is a diverse landscape, a mirror to the living world, with meadows, rivers, and even cities for the spirits that dwell there. It's divided not by walls, but by moral judgment, the Asphodel meadows, where the indifferent souls roam, stretches endlessly. The Elysian fields bloom for the heroic and virtuous, a paradise within the gloom. And then there's Tartarus, a pit of torment for the damned, where punishment is as eternal as the darkness that fills it. But Hades' realm is not just for the dead. It's a place where gods swear oaths and heroes quest for glory. And it's also home to the fabled rivers of the Greek afterlife: Styx, Lethe, Acheron, Cocytus, and Phlegethon, each with its own divine purpose and story. So, as we traverse this land of shadow, let us ponder the lives that once were and the echoes of their tales that linger in the silence. For in Hades' kingdom, every whisper tells a story, and every shadow hides a secret. To fully grasp the essence of Hades, one must delve into the roots of his immortal lineage, born to the rulers of the Titan generation. Cronus and Rhea. Hades was the sibling to deities that rule the sky and sea, Zeus and Poseidon, yet his destiny was to rule beneath the earth, a path that set him apart from the celestial throne and the crashing waves. His siblings may have garnered the adoration of the mortals with their thunderbolts and tridents, but Hades held dominion over the greatest treasure of all, the souls of the departed and the bountiful minerals beneath the soil. And what of love in such a secluded realm? Hades' heart was not barren like the earth he governed. His abduction of Persephone, the daughter of Demeter, is a tale of desire and consequence, leading to the cycle of seasons. It's a complex narrative where love and sorrow entwine like the roots of the earth. Beyond the myths, Hades' relations speak to a deity of depth and dignity. Often standing alone, he balanced the power of his brothers, ensuring that life and death remained in their eternal cycle. As we reflect upon Hades' familial ties, let's remember that even in the darkest depths, there are connections that bind us all, divine or mortal. As with many deities, Hades is represented by symbols that convey his power and domain. The Helm of Darkness, a gift from the Cyclops, renders him invisible to both God and mortal alike. A perfect tool for a god who prefers the solitude of his own kingdom to the clamorous halls of Olympus. Then there is Cerberus, the fearsome three-headed hound that guards the gates of the underworld. Loyal only to Hades, Cerberus ensures that the dead do not leave, and the living do not enter freely. The Bident, a two-pronged implement, akin to Poseidon's trident, symbolizes his rule over the underworld and his unique power to bring forth and take away life. It's a poignant reminder of the dual nature of existence. Let us not forget the pomegranate, the fruit tied to the story of Persephone. It symbolizes the binding contract of marriage and the cyclical nature of life and death. In our exploration of these symbols, we gain insight into Hades' multifaceted identity, a god not of death itself, but of the eternal cycle that governs all things. Hades' imprint on culture is as indelible as the myths that birthed him. His name alone has become synonymous with the underworld itself, a testament to his enduring legacy. Throughout history, artists and storytellers have been captivated by the Lord of the Dead, depicting him as both a ruthless tyrant and a stoic ruler. In literature, Hades has traversed the pages from Dante's Inferno to the modern narratives that seek to explore his complex character. He embodies the ultimate unknown, a narrative well that never runs dry. On stage and screen, Hades has often been portrayed with a villainous edge, a character that challenges heroes and gods alike. Yet, in some tales, he is a tragic figure, bound to a role that was never a choice. But it is not just in art that Hades has left his mark. His name is etched in language, with terms like plutocrat, reflecting his association with wealth and minerals found deep within the earth. As we reflect on these cultural echoes, we see not just a god of death, but a symbol of life's inescapable cycle influencing how we perceive the past, present, and the hereafter. The god of the underworld is often shrouded in a veil of misconception. In many tales, Hades is painted as the villain, a role that seems natural for the ruler of the dead. But is this portrayal fair, or is it a misunderstanding of a deity whose job is to maintain the balance? Contrary to popular belief, Hades is not the Greek equivalent of the devil. Unlike depictions of evil in other mythologies, Hades performs a necessary function. He is a jailer, yes, but of a prison that was never meant to punish arbitrarily. Another misconception lies in the idea that the underworld is a place of torment. While Tartarus does exist for the punishment of the wicked, the majority of souls resided in neutral or even pleasant areas, like the Elysian Fields. So as we peel back the layers of time and story, we find Hades to be a complex character, one who deserves our understanding rather than fear. For in the end, he is the warden of a realm we all must enter, the final host in the journey of life. Hades himself is often mistaken for a cold-hearted god, uncaring and distant, yet his rare outbursts and firm rulings come from a place of duty and a deep-seated sense of order. As ancient as he may be, Hades has not been left behind in the sands of time. Instead, he has found new life in the realms of modern media, captivating audiences around the globe with his enigmatic presence. In video games, Hades often appears as a formidable antagonist, or even as a playable character, offering players the chance to explore his dominion and wield his power. Games like Hades allow us to step into the shoes of his son, navigating the underworld with a mix of reverence and rebellion. The silver screen and television have not shied away from the Lord of the Dead either. From animated classics to modern fantasy series, Hades is portrayed with a complexity that mirrors his mythological roots, sometimes as a fearsome foe, other times as a tragic hero. And in the world of comics and graphic novels, Hades' story is continually reimagined, exploring the depths of his character beyond the constraints of traditional mythology. This resurgence of Hades in popular culture speaks to our enduring fascination with the stories of old and the timeless nature of the themes they explore. Love, power, and the inevitable journey from life to death. Though often overshadowed by his Olympian counterparts, Hades received his due of reverence and worship among the ancients. Far from the bustling temples dedicated to Zeus or Athena, the cult of Hades thrived in the quiet shadows, where the mysteries of life and death intertwine. In the city of Eleusis, mysteries unfolded that promised the initiates knowledge of what lies beyond. These sacred rites, shrouded in secrecy, offered solace and understanding of the cycle Hades presided over, a cycle of dying and becoming. Hades, alongside Persephone, was venerated as a deity of fertility and renewal. For death gives way to life in the eternal balance of existence. Offerings were made in His name, seeking His favor, and in hope of a merciful passage to the afterlife. So, as we reflect upon the worship of Hades, let us remember the God of the underworld, not with fear, but with a respectful acknowledgement of His vital role in the cosmic order, guiding souls, bringing renewal, and maintaining the cycle upon which life itself depends. As our journey into the depths of the underworld comes to an end, we find that Hades, the god of the dead, is far more than the myths of old have painted him. He is a keeper of balance, a ruler of the inevitable, and a deity that embodies the cycle of life and death. Through our exploration, we've discovered that Hades' story is woven with complexity and contradiction. He is neither villain nor hero, but a figure of immense power and responsibility, guarding the threshold between life and eternity. The misconceptions and fears that once shrouded Hades have given way to a deeper understanding of his role in the Greek pantheon and his impact on culture and media across the ages. Perhaps in the end, Hades teaches us that there is beauty in the unknown, and that even in darkness there can be light. His domain, though feared, is as much a part of life as the world we walk in the daylight. Thank you for joining us on this voyage to the other side. May the stories of Hades inspire you to look beyond the surface and find the truth that lies beneath.